Hey guys, this is Production Music Live. My name is Francois, and maybe you know on our Instagram account we are sharing production tips every single day. And today we have this tip: add more punch to kicks with warping. And it says maybe load in a kick sample here, play with markers, so with these. Add punch by shrinking the area of the first impact, so beginning of the sample until your second marker. Will pitch only that part of your sample and increases the higher frequencies, which adds punch. And then tip, add more markers. Extra tip, change warp mode. Also try with other samples, maybe claps. Interesting. So I was like, Alex, my friend, came up with this tip, and I was like, okay, it actually sounds interesting. I've never done it. So let's go to Ableton, and I'm picking our D Premium drum sample kit here with a whole bunch of samples I'm using all the time, and I'm going to kicks. Ten. So put this on here. And zoom in, set to warp, and play it. I'm just going to, like, if we are playing around with transients and stuff, I'm putting a limiter on the master just to, like, protect your speakers and ears and mine as well. And so what he's saying is add a, like, I'm going to add a marker here, just to keep the end of the sample, and then make sure to have headphones or good sub-speakers to hear what I'm doing here. I'm adding another little marker right here, and I'm putting it together. Okay, I just killed a transient. So what happens if I use this one? Interesting. Undo it. And redo it. Well, let's say it has a different kind of punch. So what happens with other warp modes? Loop it actually. Not too much. When you use texture, something seems to happen if you have tiny grain sizes. And tones again. I think tones could be getting more interesting if we take the sample and make it a bit longer. Okay, so I don't know, let's drag it longer. Maybe like this. And then maybe repeat it like that. So sounds very bit crushing with tiny grain sizes. And more flappery. Well, I actually bring some ideas. You know what? Let's actually try to mess around with this in a different way. I'm going to add a simpler here and drag it as I just manipulated it into this simpler track. And let's make a kick from this. Let's turn this one off for now. Okay, but actually I'm calling this kick, and actually duplicate it and call this one snare. Only every second beat, and also pitch it up, like the second one. I'm in this one right now. I'm transposing it up, and I do need to kill low end, that's for sure. So something like this. Okay, how about okay, shorter, and make it louder. And maybe play around with the warp modes. That stuck with my head actually. Play around with the warp modes and see what you can up with a bit longer sample. Well, look at that. Very interesting. Okay, let's take that a bit further and say hi-hat. Well, first, let's put in a hi-hat pattern. Okay, what can we do here? And then we can add some saturation, maybe. Okay, that's a bit too much. This is very loud already. I'm taking it down. Okay, maybe an overdrive works better here. Nice, nice, nice. Just try to get rid of this, like, bit less attack and the sustain down. And maybe an erosion to add a bit more white noisy feel. And if we have this, we can also put in a chorus and widen the sound. Okay. Maybe our kick is a bit too long here. I'm actually, like, let's make this a challenge and make a track from just this sample here, but I'm using the original sample for the kick. Okay, go back to the snare. That's still a bit too long for my taste here. MIDI note shorter. Okay, nice. Another hi-hat maybe. Duplicate this one and take it a bit shorter and 16th notes. But we are getting phasing because we're playing the same frequencies, so let's transpose it a bit higher. Something like that. Maybe also the envelope of the warp mode a bit changed. Something like this. Oh, interesting. And a bit higher up. And a bit quieter. And of course, sidechained to our initial kick input. Kind of cool. Still everything made with the kick sample. Now we need some melodic elements. Maybe try to make a bass from the snare sound here. So I'm dragging this over here and bass. Low frequencies. Something like this. Oops. Okay. So maybe try another warp mode, tones. Oh, look at that. We obviously don't need that much attack, so I'm going to one-shot mode here, and I'm putting a long fade here in the beginning. And then maybe fade it out sooner. It's too low, but let's go back to the warp mode and play around with grain size here. Can even put some saturation on that awesome overdrive. Well, I gotta say it's a kick sample, but it doesn't sound too bad as a bass as well. And okay, so we also need some kind of melody or pluck or something. So let's try to maybe make a pluck out of this since it's short sound. Pitch it up quite a bit, maybe 2 octaves. Bit more fade in. So I don't want this pitchiness, but we can use a reverb to make the sound a bit longer. Let's try that. Delay behind. Let's actually put reverb and delay after the sidechain. Oh, it sounds very leady up here. Not going to do too much here. Kind of want to play them a bit early. Yeah, we have a bit of a clickiness here. I don't know, you would try to get rid of that, but it's somewhere here in the waveform because we're not really ending in the middle. Could try to fix that with a longer fade out. And maybe a compressor. Getting rid of these clickies. Short attack. Okay, so I think I'm going to end the video here because I think it's already sounding quite nice, to be honest, just from a kick sample. Of course, we could play around a bit more and get this a bit cleaner, but this is not the goal. The goal was to try this tip, and obviously, if you're playing around with one sample, be it a kick or a clap or something, you play around with the warp modes and the timing of that sample. It can sound completely different, especially if you're using all these types of effects on it. So yeah, just putting on my little DJ effect rack here to make it sound more like a track, and I'm putting this on the master channel now. Maybe faster. Could have the timing of the snare sound a bit earlier here, -5 milliseconds maybe. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this little session here, trying out our tip of the day. Feel free to subscribe to our Instagram channel as well to get those daily tips. And also feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. And if you're looking for more drum samples to play around with or cool drum samples in general, check out our D Premium Volume 2 drum sample pack. Also, feel free to visit our website productionmusiclive.com, our website supporting this channel, giving us the ability to put out content like this. And I hope to see you next time.